Welcome back to Market on Close. It's time to bring in our next guest. That's going to be Kevin Green, Senior Markets Correspondent here on the network. KG, we've been talking throughout the day. Stocks have continued to move to the upside. We've got 3 straight days of solid gains for the equity markets. What's your take here? I mean, it just doesn't feel like there's any resistance up here. It just feels like pretty broad-based at this point.
We are seeing a little bit of resistance up here, but yes, obviously we had a really good market day today. And actually, Tom, if you look at the last 3 days, this day is probably the best if we can hold on to where we are at right now because of several different factors. If we look at the longer term time frame here, we are breaking above this, triangle pattern. You can call it a wedge pattern, what have you, right, to the upside. And this has been a very critical area of resistance that we've seen over the last couple of trading sessions here. And if we go into the close, what we want to be able to defend is at least that 54.40 level, right? That would actually get us to a higher high on a relative basis since this consolidation that we've seen over the last week and a half or 2 weeks. To the upside, the major area of resistance where you see a lot of options positioning is sitting at 5,500. And I know you made a comment earlier that maybe some of the levels were broken today. The 5400 level was actually broken. That was the first area that we were looking at, but the upside we were looking at 5480. And so 5485 is really the high for today. So we're still kind of hitting that upper bound here, but we're holding up pretty good. And going into the close, if we kind of look at this chart that I have with the advanced declining stocks for the NYSE versus the S&P 500, you can actually see that even though we had a small little pullback over the last, let's say 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so, we are actually still seeing advancing stocks move higher here. And so that's going to be the key going into the close. Can we get to 5,500? You're going to need to have that participation. We have Google earnings coming out as well. Maybe you see some more enthusiasm in this market here. Try to get to that 5,500. And then once we do so, we got to be able to hold that for the next couple of trading sessions here. And you want to see volatility crushed to the downside. We actually did see volatility for the last hour come in a little bit, but if you look at the futures curve or the VIX curve, we're still in this backwardation formation. And I think that's probably the next leg and probably the last leg for us to say that we have an all clear here. But today it does appear that we at least will be putting a little bit of a check mark on the technical side here for the bulls to say you got over the first hurdle, that 20-period moving average, closing above that, breaking above this wedge pattern, which has been an area of resistance. Once again, another winning sign for the bulls. And now we need to get to the 50-day moving average, which sits around 56.46, and then that 200-day moving average. So a lot of progress here, a lot of market breadth. It's looking fairly strong. MACD is still in that bullish cross here. So it's going to be a very hard one to fade unless we get the news flow. But today, I got to say, Tom, I haven't heard anything from the White House at all that has been concerning to try to knock this market down.
No news is good news, Kevin. Exactly. I always say that in the markets. Nothing coming out of the White House is probably a positive unless it's Besant talking. But, I mentioned it's broad-based as far as the upside here today. And over the last 3 sessions, consumer staples getting hurt here a little bit. But, I looked at the VIX earlier and I was like, okay, we're up 1.9% in the S&P 500 today. And the VIX is only down about 5% here, still hovering around 27 level. It might be due to the Google earnings after the bell. But this is still a headline-driven market at this point, Kevin. It's probably not going to be that normalization where, hey, 3 days of gains for the S&P 500, the VIX is going to be back at the 20 level, right?
Yeah, and actually, if you kind of look at it, the 20 level or the low 20s is actually is going to be relatively low if we look at it on a longer term time frame, or at least what we're averaging out for this year alone. But it's not so much that level of the VIX, right? It's the fact that we're still seeing it move to the downside. I think that's actually a decent sign. I am a little bit concerned that we haven't seen more of a flattening of the VIX curve, though. And we're talking about that, the VIX futures going out in time is still looking at elevated volatility in the near term compared to what we are seeing over the next couple of months. And actually, if you look at the overall year, it's actually still in this whole backwardation. We're not even seeing these type of kinks in the volatility curve. That's one thing to be mindful of here. But once again, we are seeing some green on the screen. And if you're an intraday trader or even a swing trader for that matter, if you're a swing trader that can stomach some of this volatility, the options premiums if you're a seller or even if you're a buyer, kind of works in your favor both ways, because we're having higher realized vol than what implied volatility is showing. So those buyers of calls or buyers of puts are still making money, but you can go far enough out to be able to sell premium and still make a decent rate of return. So that's something to be mindful of. We're also looking at volume, and actually we are seeing volume increase on the S&P 500 total composite. If you add that all together, look at all of the stocks in the S&P 500, volume is increasing on an incremental basis as we are making these gains. That's also another decent sign. Last thing I will say, liquidity is coming back into the market, Tom. Today, you probably looked like around 20 contracts on the bid, 20 contracts on the ask. If you were looking at Tuesday of last week, we were sitting at about four and a half, 5 contracts on the bid, 5 contracts on the ask. So liquidity expanding is also going to dampen volatility. That's the trajectory that you really want to see here. I'm not saying that we're out of the woods. We are going to be testing here fairly shortly a pretty key area or key gap here. The gap is pretty much 54.90 all the way up to around 55.40-ish, give or take. And so that'll be another challenge, but maybe that's also going to be a vortex of price moving to the upside here. Bears are not out of the woods either. There's a pretty decent short spot if you get to that 50 period moving average on the daily chart. That could be another area where shorts try to knock this market down.
Yeah, real quick before I let you go, KG, you know, when I look at, you know, Mag 7, a lot of the big tech names post some of those secondary earnings like Lam Research and Texas Instruments doing well. This could all change, really, on a dime at, you know, 3 o'clock Chicago time. If Google disappoints, gives, you know, dismal guidance, you know, you've got, you know, Meta Platforms in that space as far as advertising dollars. Amazon, you know, this could flip-flop really quick if they don't hit their numbers or they disappoint on guidance, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. And if you look at, you know, the trade desk as a small proxy, it's not going to be a one for one. But the trade desk, which already kind of reported, what, a month ago or so, they showed a significant amount of weakness when it came to ad dollars and ad spend. So that's something to keep on the radar. And you're right. If you actually look at a MAGS chart, the MAGS ETF, the chart really doesn't look that great. I mean, it has a small little breakout today for this bearish channel. But if you kind of look under the hood, there's actually some other sectors that are performing really well and have been doing a really good job with catching up in this market and having dollars put to work here. And I think that's actually a bright sign. You want to see recoveries with market breadth, not concentration. You want to see concentration once we get closer and closer to the highs and we start to stall out, not when we're trying to form a base or at least a bottom in a cycle.
All right, great job breakdown for us, KG. Appreciate it. That's Kevin Green, Senior Markets Correspondent. We'll see you for those Google earnings.